Hello, future billionaires. Welcome back to another episode of the Invest Like a Billionaire podcast. We had a great episode that I'm really excited for you to listen to. I interviewed Laura Dohanes of My CPA Pros, and we've been talking to a lot of CPAs recently. So it feels like, Ben, I've had enough taxes, but let me tell you, you have not heard enough tax content, because if you're still paying taxes and pay more taxes than you like, there's things you got to do and you got to shift, not only mindset, but strategy and approach that Laura really brings to the table here. So she calls herself a tax strategist. She is a CPA, but just really is very expansive in the topics that we hit on today. And it's kind of funny. I kind of think of her almost like a mindset coach as well as a CPA, which is a very unique combination, but really being aware of what's available to you as an investor and being able to create the best strategy from a tax standpoint that really helps you continue to build wealth over time. And so we had a lot of like philosophical things, but also very tactical, practical examples for people in different situations. So be sure to listen to the whole episode. It's a little bit longer, but a lot of good content. I think you're really going to enjoy some of the things that Laura shares. And if you haven't already, if you're enjoying this podcast, I would just love if you would be willing to give us a rating on Apple or Spotify and leave a little review for us. That just helps us continue to get the word out and potentially get bigger guests on the show to provide you more content that's valuable. So appreciate that. Be sure to subscribe if you're not already subscribed to the podcast. YouTube as well. We're growing our YouTube channel and expect to put out more, YouTube specific content. So with that, enjoy the episode. This is the Invest Like a Billionaire podcast, where we uncover the alternative investments and strategies that billionaires use to grow wealth. The tools and tactics you'll learn from this podcast will make you a better investor and help you build legacy wealth. Join us as we dive into the world of alternative investments, uncover strategies of the ultra wealthy, discuss economics, and interview successful investors. Looking for passive investments done for you? With Aspen Funds, we help accredited investors that are looking for higher yields and diversification from the stock market. As a passive investor, we do all the work for you, making sure your money is working hard for you in alternative investments. In fact, our team invests alongside you in every deal, so our interests are aligned. We focus on macro-driven alternative investments, so your portfolio is best positioned for this economic environment. Get started and download your free economic report today. Welcome back to another episode of the Invest Like a Billionaire podcast. I am your host, Ben Frazier, and we've got a very exciting episode today, talking about everyone's favorite topic that we've been talking a lot about recently. It's taxes. But hey, it's tax season, and Laura Dohanes is the tax strategist, founder of My CPA Pro, and she's going to blow our minds today. So I'm very excited to have her on. We've talked a little bit before a few times, and I've really just love the knowledge that she brings. And so, Laura, thanks for coming on the show. Give us a little background on you and kind of how you work with folks, and what's a tax strategist do, right?
Yeah. Thank you for having me, and it's exciting. Listen, one of my favorite things to say to people is like, when you think about an enemy or you think about a friend, taxes are many people's enemy. They look at it as this nemesis. You can never win against this giant, right? And I'm here to tell you that you can literally befriend this thing, right? If you make peace with yourself, understanding and making peace that this is an ally, and you befriend the ally, right? This is becoming part of your strategy, part of what you do, because you can never escape it, So I'm really excited. My most exciting moment is when you understand that no matter how the politics go, the economy goes, you always have an ally. There's always something for you to take out of it. And this is my role as a tax strategist. The opportunities are always there. We never lack opportunities and options. And people, I meet with my clients, with people all the time, and they say, there's nothing else left. We're done. I said, you just lost the game. So once you decide to win the game, no matter what happens, no matter how the economy goes, this is where tax strategy can give you so much more in everything that you do, because everything that, how I like to explain people is, what does tax strategy really do? It's really the end of the rope. All the cash movement, everything that you do, like the income that you draw, the expenses that you have, deductions, you're trying to make investments, they all end up, the end of the rope is the tax. When you exit, when you die, when you sell the thing, everything that you do ends in tax. So if you think about tax strategy from the point of what do I want to achieve, where do I want to go, taxes become this exciting moment. This is the end, right? So this is really what we do. We're looking at how is the end looking for you, and how can you make that exciting moment when you exit to actually look forward for your exit, whatever the exit is. And if you don't think about it, guess what? Everybody's going to exit. Everybody's going to exit one day with death, right? So either or, exit is inevitable. And it's the most exciting moment, right? So that's, I mean, I get too excited about it, but that's
I'm glad you're excited about it, because I think, yeah, I think a lot of people are glad that you're excited about it and that we don't have to be, but you can, be contagious and help us navigate it, right? Because I mean, it's, the idiom is there's nothing, certain except for death and taxes. And it's not something that at a certain point, right, if you just stick your head in sand mode, go ostrich mode on this and, don't think about it, you're still going to have to deal with it at some point. And if you don't, then your kids will, right? If, through estate taxes. And so just let's take a step back. I have so many questions and love to get into this. But one of the things you said a minute ago before we hit the record button here was a lot of the things that you help people navigate is the strategies that these, ultra high net worth families are using, say the 20, 30 plus $1 million, net worths, taxes is something they're thinking a lot about, right? Because you don't get to that level of net worth without having some sophistication around, how are you going to handle the taxes, unless you have a huge liquidity event, but then you're going to have to deal with taxes, right? So
yeah,
you kind of then help people, maybe at the lower net worth range of, $2 to $5, $10 million ranges, use these strategies that can help propel you to that next level of income and growth. And talk a little bit about what are the strategies, what are the things, maybe even mindsets that people are using and frameworks that they use to, get to those levels of net worth.
Yeah, and it's really exciting what you just said, because many people, I think the downfall is where we think, well, we're not there yet. This is not for me. This doesn't work for me. So we, with our mindset, can literally block something that could be tremendously beneficial to our wealth building, and not just wealth building, but tax strategy, because we already cut it off that this doesn't work for me. I'm not there yet. And listen, I have people who can bring 10 million in a year and say, I'm not there yet. And I have a person that brings $1 million a year and can have much more, mindset like shift. Say, you know what? I'll do whatever it takes, right? So you can only go as far as you let yourself go with the tax strategy. And now some of them have other risks, and it comes with the risk aversion. Really, I think this is the moment, because the first step in tax strategy is understanding how much money you make and how much is your lifestyle cost you. This is, I think, the missing element when people don't understand. So we always begin with the basics, because the number one step that you want to know is, okay, how much do I live? Most people, it doesn't matter how much money they make. It doesn't matter what kind of investments they have. Most of the people live between anywhere but 150 to 300,000 tops a year. And $300,000 a year, most people in the United States right now as a family, and I have 3 kids in private school, you can live very well with that money. It doesn't matter where you live in the US, right? So you can do it, you can have a decent living, right? Now, once you have established what's your lifestyle costing you every year, okay, you have to decide the excess, what you're going to do. And I'm not going to use the Dave Ramsey's approach, which I love the guy. It works very well for many families to begin the process. That is the baby stage of investing. It gets them on a track. But the same concept he applies, like you have to allocate all the money. Now, all the excess that you make, you have to allocate it. You have to learn to spend. And I think this is where people kind of miss the boat on. When I go through this process, when I start investing, they don't have the end goal in mind.